Hey everyone, I wanted to show something that happened in this best of one of Alliance versus Mineski in the Manila Major. Let's hop right into the action.
The Invis Rune, and they're going to start this off with the Shadow Strike. There are 2 charges up on the Spirit Siphon though, so they're going to need to burst him. If he gets one off, they might have to disengage, but they get the lift. Then the drop comes through, and he's a bit late there on the Fairy Fire. His Spirit Siphon will get taken out. He ends up getting the first blood. 2 for the rescue. Potato Tornado. It looks like it's going to be a 2 for no. Mineski salvaging that and coming out way on top.
So there you can definitely see the local crowd get into it. Mineski is a Pinoy team, so of course the Philippines fans are going to love it when they turn that gank into a double kill. And watching lands, I really get pumped when the crowd gets into it. I think that's awesome. But I wanted to make this video to highlight some of the home cooking that you can kind of see in events like this and that the players and fans should be aware of. So let's see some of that home bias here. Here we can kind of see Mineski getting ready to prep for a smoke, and let's see how the crowd reacts.
It's going to be alone. If it's Nature's Prophet somewhere like solo pushing a lane, go and gank the Nature's Prophet. If it's Jug, try and smoke gank him as they tried earlier on at bottom lane. It didn't work, but you've got to keep looking for that play.
Oh, Mineski, they saw that ancient stack being cleared out. I believe Heroes running back and forth, and now they creep into the pit, maybe thinking even the Roche was being attempted. Are they going to sneak it?
They just want to
Did Mineski have the cojones for this? You bet they do. Into the pit they go. Wave of Terror, very carefully thrown to the south so as not to be easily scouted by Alliance. Bottom lane is pushing, and no one's defending. Alliance might have an idea of what's up, but they've yet to move into the pit. They really need to start channeling up that first Illuminate.
He's got no TP as well. Esfo's just not going to be here in time.
They don't have a blink on the Beastmaster. They just got to waddle into the pit, and it's far too late. Mineski have snagged the Aegis right out.
So there was a little bit of a crowd reaction when Mineski popped the smoke, but they were basically able to sneak in a Roche pit and get that without the crowd really reacting too much at all. So let's contrast that when Alliance smokes up and then moves into the Roche pit. Let's see how the crowd reacts.
It's felt like the tempo has been almost entirely theirs for most of the game, but here comes Alliance rumbling down towards the big rock in the pit. They want this Roshan. All cooldowns online for Mineski.
Oh, they've seen it though with the scan.
And they're working on it. The scan did come out, and they frantically scramble towards the pit. The Nature's Prophet has the teleport into the pit, ready to go. The entire Mineski squad are just bulldozing in already. Raging Potato has popped the ultimate.
So as we move into the team fight, I think it's fair to say that the crowd, there was much more reaction for Alliance smoking and moving to the Roche pit. And Mineski, they did use a scan to scout that Alliance was in the Roche pit, but I think that scan was just a reaction to the crowd reacting and being very vocal for the home team. Let's see what happens next. And what I think happens is that Alliance actually uses the crowd against Mineski, but let's see what happens.
One fight is likely going to decide the outcome.
That one fight could be coming, LD.
It's EGM way out in front and back in a way.
And Mineski know they're not in Roche. They have the tree in there, and that's
gonna disappear soon though, and they may be forced to move in. Alliance, they poke.
No
Roche
smokes available.
times.
They'll be walking right past the Dire Vision.
They're running up the hill. They're scouted by that Dire Ward. They're streaming towards the pit. Alliance setting up the ambush. It's going to be a good keep.
So now we move into a team fight, and Alliance here has the high ground, although they do end up losing this team fight. But I think their reaction was very interesting. So at the start of this clip, Mineski has a Treant in the Roshan pit, but they can hear the crowd going nuts. So I think they group together because the crowd is getting the indication that Alliance is smoked up and moving to attack. Then Loda moves into the Roche pit as well as the rest of the team Alliance, and then they kill the Nature's Prophet Treant. That's 100% okay. Alliance is in that pit, and the crowd really sells it too. It's like, oh crap, they're taking Roshan. But then actually Alliance backs off and takes the high ground and then attempts to take the fight there. So I'll just show the rest of the game here where Alliance does end up beating Mineski, spoiler alert, and advancing in this tournament. And I wanted to make this video to show that LANs are different. They have crowds. It's not like playing over the internet. And those crowds do change the game. I think those crowds basically make it much more difficult to pull off a level 1 Roshan, which is one of my favorite strategies, one of the highest risk, highest reward strategies, even with changes to Roshan. It's very hard to pull that off in a LAN environment. And furthermore, if you have a home team in a LAN environment, the crowd is going to be trying to help that team as much as possible. And that's just how people are. And no matter where you're from, that's going to be the case. And I think that was the case here. And if you're coming from a foreign team into that environment, you just have to play around that. And so here in the Philippines, this Manila Major, I'm very pumped. I'm very excited to have it. I think the Philippine fan base of Dota 2 is very fanatical, for lack of a better word. They get super pumped, and they make games very interesting, and they have a very vocal and very big part of Dota fan base. So I'm glad that Manila had a major. And I hope Russia has a major too, because, Russia is very popular in Dota, and there's a ton of players coming from that region or the CIS region. And I think that, Dota 2 would benefit by having a major there. But for foreign teams going to that environment, and this is true for TI6, for people coming into the Western environment, American teams, the crowd is going to be trying to help those Western teams out. And so for any foreign team coming into a different environment, you have to be aware of that situation.